What is up, fellow Chojins and loyal vassals? It is I, Overlord Figmori, here to show you another one of the Kinnikuman line of figures from the SH Figuarts. Brocken Jr., who is, I guess, I don't know how other way to say this, but he is, for all intents and purposes, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but he is a Nazi. He is of German ethnicity, and he is a Nazi. However, he does not display any Nazi beliefs, because in the Kinnikuman series, at the time when Kinnikuman was made, Japan wasn't as culturally sensitive as they are now, so a lot of their characters were kind of stereotypes of certain countries. Like, I guess the biggest offense is Ramen Man. Just in his name and his appearance alone, that could be considered very offensive. But to me, I don't really see that. I just think they look cool, or at least later on appearances. Because Ramen Man in the beginning, if you've seen images of what Ramen Man looks like in the early days of the manga of Kinnikuman, he looks very grotesque, specifically the way his head is shaped. But in Scramble of the Throne, he looks way more appealing. However, that's not about him. This is about Brocken Jr. And like I said, he does not show any Nazi beliefs. He just wears the outfit. This is how he appeared in the anime. I don't like it. Well, it's actually growing on me in person, looking at the figure. However, in the manga, rather than this blue motif, his entire uniform is green. The red parts are still red, I believe. Either that or they're gray. And he actually, his little, I don't know what this would be. His entire headgear, rather than being blue, whatever this is actually gray. He actually has human skin tone. But I don't know why they went with this. Maybe to make him look more evil, but he's technically not evil at all. He also has, he's also considered not like a forgettable character, but he never had very memorable fights, and whenever he did fight, he never it was never epic, I guess what I'm trying to say. The only really intimidating and serious fight, and it gave me a more appreciation of the character, was during the Scramble of the Throne arc, during his bout against Prison Man. I mean, no, not Prison, Prism, like the, yeah, Prism, Prison Man. It entirely made out of prison, mind you. It's not like a weird outfit a man is wearing that has prism motif. No, it's an actual prism, an entity walking. I don't know. It's weird. A lot of funny, weird characters in the show. But that was one of the only fights where Brocken Man. I was actually rooting for Brocken Man Jr. to win. It was an interesting fight too, because we actually learned that his little, I believe the skull and crossbone, which you can't really tell because of how small it is, but that's what it's supposed to be. I think it's called a totem cough. I'm not exactly sure the phrase or the wording, but it's the German word for, I guess, skull and crossbone. It actually gives him his Chojin powers, or at least gives him the Chojin body, something along the lines. And he actually had to remove it in order to go up against Prison Man, because Prison Man had like a weird ray attack where it would attack a Chojin's body and kill them. However, Brocken Man used his cunning intellect and figured out that if he were to remove the totem cough, the skull and crossbone, well, I'm just going to call it that, then he would lose his Chojin abilities and he would no longer be harmed by the harmful rays. He ended up winning, mind you, but at the cost of his life. Spoiler alert. But then he comes back to life. Another spoiler. Anyways, like I said, the anime color is starting to grow on me, as a figure, that is. I'm hoping, maybe, because they already announced the manga versions of Robin Mask and Warsman, I'm hoping that maybe they'll do the same with Brocken Jr. and give him his manga colors. Not that I have nothing against this one, because like I said, it's actually starting to grow on me. Aesthetically, the only thing I don't necessarily like is his, the way this is his, I mean, I get why they did it. This is actually supposed to be his coat. He's obviously wearing a coat. But the way this piece is molded, it kind of looks like he's wearing a skirt. But the reason they did that is obviously so he has more room to move his legs when you're moving him about. They're actually also separated from right here. They're not actually super soft plastic too. I kind of wish it was super soft. But I understand why they had to do that in order to give him room to move his legs. Otherwise, he'd be kind of stiff. I'm actually surprised how good he looks in general because aside from the ninja, Brocken Jr. is the second figure to be fully clothed and not show off any of his muscles. So I just think that's pretty interesting. And they still... It feels like I don't have a figure on me. Well, let me see if I can get to... I do have Kinnikuman here, or Silverman as I have him. You can kind of see that his chest is nowhere near as prominent as the previous other releases because his pecs are covered in clothing. Just a quick little comparison's sake. So he does look kind of slimmer in that aspect because his muscles are not showing. No skin off my bones though. He looks really cool. Moving on to Articulation, and if you've seen any of the other SH Figuarts Kinnikuman figures, then you know what to expect here. However, I will say this, he has probably the most range of motion at the head that I've ever seen in a Kinnikuman figure. It's a simple double ball joint where it's ball jointed at the lower part and at the head, and he can get quite a bit of range out of it. He also has a ball joint at the lower part of the neck, but I don't hardly ever use it. This piece is actually separate. But yeah, it's really impressive. It has some. It obviously has to do with the shape of his head not being like completely hindering compared to the other Kinnikuman figures, where the shape of their head kind of impedes on being able to look up and whatnot. But not him, because his head is probably the most human-looking head. Also, unfortunately, his hat, these little pegs on the hat, is relatively loose on mine. Let me see if I can do it perfectly. Or, alright, well at least it stays on if you were ever to be upside down. It's only when I start moving the head around that it comes off. Also, get a good look at his face. Brocken Jr.'s face. He looks cool. Like when you can't ever see his eyes. I thought that was interesting. He's a cool looking dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like the more I look at him, the more I'm starting to appreciate his character's design. I mean, I wish he was the manga color, but it's still pretty cool. Oh, in case you couldn't tell, the BJ stands for Brocken Jr. Anyways, moving on. He has your typical butterfly joint at the shoulder where you can pull them out. And they are on ball joints, these pieces, and there's another ball joint in that shoulder piece that is on a hinge. Which kind of looks a little off, but there you go. That's what I was trying to do. Impressive stuff that I absolutely love on these SH Figuarts Kinnikuman figures. He has a double jointed elbow, which is anatomically correct at how an actual elbow should move. And I don't think I've ever seen an SH Figuarts Kinnikuman figure that can actually perfectly fold their arms onto their bicep. I don't know, I've never seen that. He has a ball jointed hinge pegamajig. It's on a hinge and you can't move it side to side. Impressive stuff. He has the ball joint hinge mechanic at the lower and upper body of his chest. You can get quite a bit of a crunch and quite a bit of an arch. Impressive stuff. And you can move it side to side and all that jazz. A little squeaky sound. I don't think this piece... I don't think you can actually move this piece like independently. Moving on, he has a ball joint at the lower part of his legs. You can pull these out in true SH Figuarts fashion. In the actual thighs, there's a separate ball joint in here. You can't really see it. I don't know if I can kind of show you it. But if you've seen it before, then you know what I'm talking about. Let me get repositioned here. I'm kind of uncomfortable, but he can get quite a bit up. Not too much because of this plastic. I mean, it is relatively soft, but not too soft. Somewhat stiff. But it gets the job done. Especially from the side to side. So yeah. He has a double jointed knee. Although, oh no, it's okay. It was a little tight at first, but it works out fine. Molded knee, looking clean. He has a hinge that you can move side to side. Impressive stuff. Your typical Kinu Command line of figure, Flare. Let's see if I can get you with close enough. And he comes with actually quite a bit of, well, not a bit of, well, no, yeah, yes, he comes with a bit of hands. But show you the faces. He comes with a, this is supposed to be his concerned face. Most SH Figuarts Kinu Command figures do come with a standard face, a concerned face, and a yelling face. And this is supposed to be his concerned face, but it, because you can see the sweat mark, that's actually supposed to be a sweat mark right there. However, if you were to display him at this angle, it kind of looks more like he's an angry face. So you can take it either or. Here is his yelling face. I don't know why, but the red on his mouth looks really clean. I don't know, but I like it. This is supposed to be his yelling face. All good faces in my opinion. For hands, he comes with his standard, if you didn't know, his signature move, which is the red Berlin of pain, and I believe that's the term, which really is not that impressive. It's essentially like a karate chop or something of the line. However, if you've seen Ultimate Muscle, he takes on an apprentice called Jade, and the red Berlin of pain actually looks really cool, like where he heats up his hand or something like that, and his hand looks like it's on fire, and then he karate chops you. That actually looks cool. In the manga and the anime, the red Berlin of pain just looks like a standard karate chop, or chop, however you take it. And here is the hands for that said move. Also, going on, or backing up, Brocken Jr. actually, I've never known about this because I don't really watch, or haven't heard, because apparently Ultimate Muscle, or I guess Kinu Command Nisei, is still going on in Japan in the form of a manga. The anime ended, but the manga is actually still going. However, prior to the finale of Scramble for the Throne, was that a bird I heard? I heard a bird. Anyways, prior to or after the finale of Scramble for the Throne, I didn't know what happened to Brocken Jr., but apparently, once Scramble for the Throne arc was finished, he went back to Germany or something, and he had no more aspirations for life. He's like, well, there's nothing for me to do, so I guess I'll just get drunk, and he just fell into a depression or something along the lines, and that just depressed the hell out of me. Like, god damn, poor Brocken Jr. That's a terrible backstory. Like, wow. I mean, it's very realistic in that aspect, because after the Scramble for the Throne, what else is there for you to do, Brocken Jr.? So I guess he just went for drinking. But then he met Jade, and he came back. Anyways, that's besides the point. That's something else entirely. Moving on, showing you the rest of his hands. So I already showed you his 2 karate chopping hands for his red Berlin of pain. Or you can do the salute, you know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't suggest it, but I'm just saying you can probably do that. He comes with 2 open palmed hands, but they're actually 2 different kinds. This one's the one where he has a hand, so you can hold stuff with it, kind of. It doesn't come with the thumbs where they look like they're supposed to hold stuff. So that's kind of a bummer, but here's his other pair of hand, which kind of looks similar to this one, but he does not come with a hinge. This is actually weird, if you ask me, because you can already do this with this hand, so I don't exactly know what was the point for this hand. They should have just included the actual holding hand. That would have been better, but there's that. And it comes with 2 of these. Now I'm just showing you one for the right hand, but it does come with 2. So that is all the hands he comes with, and the faceplates. He also comes with the steel chair. For some of you who don't know why some of these SH Figuarts Kinu Command figures are coming with steel chairs, is because during the Scramble of the Throne arc, Brocken Jr., Buffalo Man, Ashura Man, the Ninja, and Kinu Command Soldier all joined together to compete in the Scramble for the Throne, and they had a certain scene where they all had their own chairs, and they taught Kinu Command and his friends the true meaning of friendship, or what real friendship is, apparently, going by Kinu Command Soldier's thought process. But that's something else entirely. Brocken Jr., man. A character that I didn't necessarily like at first, but when I really think about it, he's a pretty badass dude. I can't wait till they release Geronimo. The only Chojin, idol Chojin that I'm not particularly fond of, and I don't think I'm gonna. Well, I may end up getting him is Wolfman or Rikishiman. He's like the sumo wrestler. He's supposed to be Japan's representative, but they have Kinnikuman, so I don't know. And I don't remember, aside from Brocken Jr. and him teaming up for the Dream Tag Tournament against the Neptune Man, that whole arc. I don't think I've ever seen Wolfman from then on, so I don't even know if he's gonna get a figure. I don't know. We'll see. If he does end up getting one, then I'm getting it just because for completionist purposes. But yeah, Brocken Jr. You know, he's actually pretty cool. If he was actually the manga color, he'd actually make a pretty good like soldier figure. In general, it's a little off with the colors as he is now, but hey, if you like it, I'd say you can get him. Brocken Jr. This review is over, don't you agree? Alright, I'll see you guys later.